If you ask my mother why I went into medicine, she would probably say that it's innate in me, because even when I was about 3 years old, I was carrying around a eye book all over the place, and she thinks it's because medicine is innate to me, but I think it's just because the pictures are really nice. But I think inherently growing up, my mother would always treat sprained ankles with ginger, colds with herbs. So I've always had this innate passion and understanding that the human body is great at healing. Because it's great at healing, even with natural support only, I've always had this interest in how the human body actually functions. And what's interesting is that when I was in high school, I got into medicine from a BA MD combined degree program. And the reason I chose that when I was older was because medicine is one of those really amazing careers where you can actually combine humanities with science. There's very few careers that actually have that. To me, the ability to really look at psychology, ethics, sociology, anthropology, along with the biology and chemistry, that was always very interesting to me. And if you really think about it, a great clinician typically is someone who is great with science, but also who has a knack for working with people. And so to me, that has always been this perfect marriage. Medicine has always been a natural tendency for me. And also because of my natural interest in the whole systems approach to medicine, and that's why my background and training went into integrative internal medicine. When I was in training, there were a lot of people, a lot of patients where I noticed that they were actually in this, what I call a watershed kind of arena of health, where they're not quite sick yet, but they're starting to not feel well. And so traditional medicine tends to really focus on when someone has abnormal labs, imaging. I started to notice in my training that there are people where they're starting to feel not well, but the labs aren't yet abnormal and the imaging is not yet abnormal. And a lot of traditional medicine clinicians might say these people are depressed or anxious, but in reality, what I noticed was that they were really good at reading their body and starting to sense that they're not okay. Because of that, I've actually realized that there should be more focus in this kind of watershed kind of period of medicine. And so I call it kind of a leaky faucet before it overflows, or if someone's at the precipice of disease, if you were to focus at the root cause or the preventative, prodromal, preclinical disease management and bring them back from the precipice, that's really where you ultimately are moving the needle in someone's health. Those experiences really shaped me and my passion and vision for really working with companies that not only have products that are empowering people who want to take care of themselves, to give them tools so that they can stay ahead of disease and not behind it. I've really focused on this kind of preventative whole systems approach, which is, again, to me, this integrative internal medicine combined with why I joined Human Longevity, this precision genomic medicine that we're doing, because it's data driven, takes into account everyone's personalization, really looks at disease prevention and early phase instead of waiting for someone to be sick. When I first went into medicine, I think my initial vision was I just loved working with people and the science behind it. When I went into my own practice, I felt like I wanted to have a practice that looked at early disease prevention. But as I moved more into the arena, into the career in the field of preventative health, whole systems approach to healthcare, I realized it's more than just that. There were a lot more gaps in the healthcare arena that I wanted to help fill. I really started to work for different career paths and jobs that would take into consideration things like growing corporate wellness programs in companies, making sure that I'm doing media to help educate, because I think for people to even know that they want to take care of their health, they have to be educated enough to know that that's needed. That's really helped me to work in the media field, and then also to work with different companies that are more direct to consumer, so that people are not waiting for their doctors to give them the tools, but they also are able to go out there, get the education, and find the tools that they need to at least begin the conversation, so that they then will go to a clinician to actually talk about their health. In my past jobs prior to Human Longevity, it was very important for me to find these different companies that were with the same vision and the same passion. When I worked with these other companies, I really gained a lot of the skill sets that allowed me to be in the role that I am today. I would say that, being the Chief Medical Officer of Human Longevity was a road that I was always intended to be at, because of all these different opportunities I've had in the past and experiences in the past really have set me up to take on multiple perspective responsibilities in the role that I have. And so when a friend of mine reached out to me to join Human Longevity, at the time I really could not say no, because it was like being asked to be a part of a company that was going to shape the future of medicine. And so to me, both then and now, I still feel that to be true. To me, genomic precision medicine is and has to be the future of medicine. The reason for that is because there's no two people that are exactly the same. Just like different people have different personalities, everybody has their own predilection for diseases, for certain things that they're strong in their body and certain things that they're not as strong in. For us to really create a value-based healthcare system where the treatments that we're giving and the prevention steps that we're giving are actually tailored to that person, that would then ensure that we get ahead of the diseases that they're predisposed to or that they have a predilection to ahead of the disease and not behind it. And by doing so, it will ensure that we have better, efficient, thorough outcomes for this client, as well as be able to keep the overall cost of healthcare down to a reasonable level. For me, ultimately, genomic precision medicine is a personalized healthcare system that then takes the blueprint of someone's body, their genome, then they put it together with the lab biomarkers, the imaging biomarkers, and together we actually, over time, with multiple years of data sets, be able to really tell what is true of that person, specific to that person, and then be able to, in the future, very quickly tell if something abnormal is happening, because we already have all the data of who they are, and we have all of the markers that show what the risk factors are, who they are in this moment, who they will be in the future. To me, this kind of medicine has to be in the future because of the fact that if we don't practice this way, then we're forever chasing the disease and only dealing with it when the fire comes up. But we have to actually find ways to prevent the fire from coming up. I think anybody who is in any career field where you are a pioneer, you're wanting to be on the forefront, you're always going to come up with obstacles. I think when there are people who say any career path or any path worth taking, there has to be obstacles for you to know that you're actually on the right path of moving the needle forward of anything that you're doing. I am a firm believer of that. I think because of the type of medicine I'm in, integrative medicine back in the day, even when I was doing fellowship training and then coming out and having my own practice, people back in the day, even family, friends, colleagues were saying, why are you doing that version of medicine when you can do something more conventional? And the reason is because for people with passion and vision, where this is something that I felt a calling to do, I had to go down that road and make sure that I am doing everything I can to make sure that this is more commonplace for others. Because if I'm someone that saw it, then other people probably are seeing it, but someone has to make those steps to actually make this be more accessible to other people and to other patients. So when I started that career practice, it was hard. At the time, there was not a lot of clinicians doing it. Then as I moved forward to doing other companies where they were automating personalized lifestyle supplementations, diet, and now with genomic precision medicine, these are all alternative to what is traditional sick care. If we ever only did what was done before, we will never have advancements. So to me, it's really about doing the things that we know needs to be there and really being passionate and sticking to and showing the data of the fact that this really can help healthcare and people in general. These obstacles have come up multiple times, and I'm grateful for the mentors that I've had over my career. In doing so, I definitely feel that it's important for me to continue to pay that forward, because these mentors have really helped shape my ability to help create the healthcare system that I do believe should be the healthcare system of the future, as well as give me enough tools and knowledge to then be able to shape the people of the future generations. When my parents moved to the US, they were in their 40s, and I actually moved to the US as an immigrant when I was 5 to 6 years old. I think growing up as immigrant family, we were not unfamiliar with hardship and also working hard to get to where we need to be. I think the factors of perseverance and working hard and really sticking to your belief and making sure you get there are things that I bring to my career as well as any company that I work with. And I think the thing that has really helped me, again, between the mentorships and the great people I've worked with and this journey of perseverance, is really figuring out that if someone has the talent and the mindset and the passion and the vision, then it's important for us to really advocate for those people as well. So regardless of the ethnicity, gender, where their social economic status is, et cetera. And so it's really important for us to really continue to advocate and empower all people who have vision and passion. And that's something that I've always really resonated with in my career. To a lot of people who are very busy with their career, it's very easy to resonate with the fact that balancing professional life and personal life is difficult, right? You have to make a conscious effort and choice to do so. But I actually think that for those people where they say it's an impossibility, I would encourage that they try to do so, to still find personal life and work balance. The reason is because work and what you bring to work and how you are at work has a lot of a reflection of how your personal life is. If everyone didn't do anything but their professional career, you're actually less diverse in your experiences to actually be able to bring that to the table. So to me, the reason why I make an effort, and it's not always easy, to try to find work-life balance is because my personal life and what I experience with people that I care about, love, the charitable workings that I do, all of those things bring a different essence to my professional life. And I think that diversity in my own experiences and hopefully from other people's experiences really can contribute to the overall growth and well-being of a corporation. I think it's incredibly important to celebrate and be reminded of how far we've come as women to be able to have leadership roles in companies and to have a voice. It wasn't that long ago that women actually could not vote. So Women's History Month, I think, is really important as a reminder of all of the trailblazers and amazing people that have come ahead of us that makes my position today and many of the viewers' positions possible. People like Marie Curie, who at the time that she was a physicist and chemist, when most women were having children and just being married, the fact that she was able to do that was massive. Susan B. Anthony, the fact that she advocated for women's rights and African American rights, that's very difficult at the time, right? But she did that. Other people like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Gloria Steinem, these are all women who are willing to put things on the line to make sure others can follow. I've always felt that it's really important as a leader to be able to not just carve a path for ourselves to be successful, but that the path that we're carving and creating is a path that others can follow, and that they can follow in a way where they also can then carve a path of their own passion and vision. And that's how I think as a society in general is how we evolve and advance. Ever since I've stepped into the role of Chief Medical Officer, it's always been very important to me that we focus on all people with talent, vision, and passion. And if they have the desire and passion to grow and become leaders, it's something that it is our responsibility as leaders to help them grow. I think it's inherent to leadership that the main job of a leader is to lead others in their growth, not just in the company itself, but also the people in there. I think the initiatives we've implemented within the company and also just in healthcare has focusing on gender balance and just really promoting and advancing all people who have a passion and vision for growth. By doing so in a very balanced environment, that's how we can really promote overall work equality and balance. In healthcare wise, it's very important for us to really focus on the fact that healthcare has to be focused on all genders involved, because if we're only catering to half the population, we're not really doing healthcare, because healthcare by nature is implying that we're doing it for everybody. I think that it's important to have women in leadership positions in healthcare systems. 76% of healthcare workers in the healthcare industry are female. 80% of the dollars spent in any household for healthcare are derived from the drive of a female household leader. For us to have healthcare and not take that into consideration would be an error. For human longevity and all healthcare systems to really make sure that all of the offerings we offer are very gender balanced. We are growing a lot of the women's health arena. We are growing a lot of the women's health initiative kind of testing within the company. We are incorporating things like mammogram, breast MRIs. We now have an in-house gynecologist who does pap smears, and we're doing hormone therapy, hormone balancing and consults. So to us, it's really a matter of, again, if we are to truly democratize, because we are a company that says, from billionaires to a billion people, early technology is expensive. There has to be obviously early phase people who are able to fund it. But in the long run, the company's goal is to democratize this. If we are to democratize this, we have to do it so that all of the entire population is covered for. And a lot of that is a female gendered population that we have to really focus on as well. So women's health has been a big part that we are focusing on as a company in growth. And I think it's the right direction, and we'll continue in that pursuit. As leaders in any industry, women leaders in any industry, we have to set first by example. Sometimes it's hard, especially in a growing company where there's a lot professionally that, may be laid on each leader's shoulders. But I think the key factor is to remember the terminology of leader means that you're leading people. People are what is going to drive a company. For me, I would say that one of the key factors being a leader is to really set by example, but also to take the time to teach, to guide, to grow. If there's any advice that I would give for any women or men who are young in their professions and they want to grow into leadership roles, is that you have to just try. We are going to fail in 100% of the things that we do not try on. And so I think if I had listened to all the naysayers early on and not embarked on a newer endeavor or a not so often treaded path, never would have gone down any path. And no advancements ever came of that in any scenario. So I think I would encourage everybody to really try and to get mentorship as much as they can. And I think for anybody going into a company or a new career path or a career path that they're trying to grow in, I would take a lot of time to recommend that you sit and listen and ask questions. I think when you go into any endeavors, listening and asking questions to figure out the landscape is always priority. And then from there, then you can really speak knowledgeably onto how you can contribute. And I think that would be the best way to approach any goals and passion. And I would wish everybody great success in being able to do that, because I've tried a lot and a lot of people have helped me along the way. And I'm pretty sure that if people spoke up and they wanted to get to where they wanted to go in their career and they asked for the help, there are a lot of people who would be willing to do so.